Welcome back to this week's episode of Hate Your Guts podcast. I'm Rizzo.
I'm Vivi.
And I'm Haley.
Does anyone have pits or peaks that they would like to?
My peak was getting my hair done. And Ethan's sneaking around the lights right
now. My peak was also doing your hair and makeup.
Yeah, that was really fun.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was sister bonding time.
It was yesterday, right?
Yeah. It turned out so pretty. I cannot wait for all you guys to see.
I'm so excited, you guys. We're 4 days away from the wedding. It's insane.
So soon.
That's actually so insane. I have been thinking about it all week. I'm just kind of fucking finally, dude. I'm so tired of waiting. Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely a before the wedding life and an after the wedding life. And the before the wedding life is getting
it's getting old.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a long year.
Anxious.
It is making me anxious for some reason, but I think I'm just so excited to have fun that I've just been anticipating it for so long. I'm like, okay, let's do it already. Yeah.
Yes.
We were practicing our first dance yesterday when Vivi got home, and it was really fucking awkward.
That's so cute.
Because number one, we haven't practiced in a while, so we were trying just first to just figure out how to move around and be people. And she was like, "Oh, you guys choreographing?" We're like, "Nope, just trying to dance. Actually, just flat bottom dance, you know."
And don't look at me.
No, I wasn't. I was looking at the floor. I wasn't here for very long anyway. I went to dinner with my parents. Yeah, but
cute. Wait, were you watching YouTube videos to know how to move?
Basically, because obviously there's the waddle. You can waddle. You just waddle in place, whatever the hell. But it's kind of okay, you kind of want to move around a little bit.
Yeah, some steps.
And so we couldn't remember what felt right, and nothing was feeling right because we were trying forward, back. That wasn't right. Ultimately, we found the video. It's step, sway. Okay. It made way more sense than what we were doing. But yeah, that was an experience. Groovy. That was probably a pit, to be honest, was having to relearn how to dance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't
Humbling.
look at us. Don't look at us when we dance, you guys. Just turn away. You don't have to. Oh, actually, there's something new. So at a certain point in the song, the DJ is going to be like, all right, everyone else is going to join now. If you have someone to dance with, you fucking get your ass up there and dance.
Got it. Noted.
I'll be relaying this message to the rest of the wedding party as well, but yeah.
Jacob better be present. You better not be grubbing on some snacks. He needs to be there in the moment.
I think whenever the first dance is happening, I think everyone is just sitting and watching. I don't think there's background stuff that's happening.
No, because appetizers are usually cleared out by the time the cocktail hour is over, and the first dance is the first thing after the cocktail hour.
Yeah, I think that the most nerve-wracking thing for me is I don't know what any of it's going to look like, or you told me the schedule, but I'm still I've never done this before. I don't know how to maid of honor. I don't know how to wedding as an adult.
There's all these little things in my head. I'm okay, I have to hold my bouquet at waist height. It's very important for some reason because of just the way it looks in photos. I have to remember that. I have to remember that our officiant needs to step out from behind us when we do our first kiss. Me and Ethan need to practice our first kiss because you don't want that to be that needs to look like you know what you're doing, not whoa, so need to figure that out. Yeah. And there's just so many things I have to remember to hand you my bouquet when I get to the aisle, to the end. That's a thing in my there's so much.
Well, we rehearsed, right?
One time.
Yeah, the one time the night before.
I mean, I'm here. We could practice whatever we can.
But see, we're not going to be at the place.
Yeah. The layout and everything.
It's be fun, guys. I'm going to be drinking.
I'm so excited.
I'm really excited for spicy watermelon margaritas.
It sounds fire.
I'm excited to see everyone all dressed up.
Everyone's slaying.
It's the most formal event
ever
to be had,
until the next wedding, but
and for the foreseeable future, because I think the next one is 2027 or something. But I don't think I know of anyone else that's getting married, so it's one for the foreseeable future.
It's exciting.
Jacob.
You still got to do the planning and everything.
What do you mean?
Like if you are engaged by the end of this year, probably like 2027 or 28, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But honestly, unless we get these tariffs figured out, I wouldn't even bother until 2028.
Yeah.
Until we get a new prez. Because florals, holy shit, that's about to rise if these tariffs stick.
Where do flowers come from?
Everywhere but America, damn near. Like, so the reason why it's so hard to get fruit and stuff when in like February is because of Valentine's Day flowers, because of how much we import flowers. It takes up like all the space on like planes and boats.
That's so crazy that flowers, because they're just so delicate to me.
Yeah.
Like in my head, I feel like they have to come from like somewhere local, but I guess not.
There are like, obviously poppies are California, I think. I don't know if they go anywhere else. But a lot of stuff, like I don't think peonies grow very well in California. So I think that's something we import. I think honestly tulips are probably something we import.
Yeah, I think I don't know if they originate from the Netherlands, but they definitely are like one of the flowers of the Netherlands.
Yeah. But
a lot of stuff is not native to the US.
And if it is, it's like not a huge supply. I don't know. We're fucked, guys.
We got corn.
That's about it.
Corn.
I like corn. I'm neutral on corn. Sometimes the texture is not appetizing to me.
We were having a corn discussion yesterday.
Yeah, we were just talking about corn. I love corn.
It sounds like we're talking about porn, but we're really just talking about corn.
Yeah.
Like the vegetable.
Yeah.
Maize.
That's really
specifically a elote for me. It's a starch, right?
Yeah. It's a carb.
Yeah.
It's better a carb. Yes, I didn't really get the reaction that I wanted to out of that, but it's fine.
I don't know like what I heard, but it registered that you said is butter a carb.
It's okay.
What is that from?
It's from Mean Girls.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, Regina George, when she was like on her diet, but she was actually getting fat.
Is butter a carb?
Well, that's not a bad word. Whatever. Is butter a carb?
I think butter is a fat.
It's a fat.
Yeah. So
Okay.
It's like an oil. Well,
us when we know things.
It's a fat.
Yeah, we know a lot of things.
Margarine is an oil.
Yes, knew that. Anyways, Pit speaks.
My pit of this week is that I've been recognized twice outside of work from my work, more specifically my old work. One, I was at my current job and they were like, "Don't you work in this city?" And I was like, "Well, clearly not. I'm not there anymore." The other one was I was at 4th Street Market right before going to the Frida Cinema, and I was ordering a matcha at the like boba coffee shop that they have in there. And someone was walking by and was like, "Don't you work at this place?" And I was like, "Yeah." They were like, "Cool." Then they walked away. I was just like,
That's interesting.
to be perceived and remembered. Really strange experience. And I'm not really a fan of it. If you ever see me out in public, don't say that you know me from somewhere. We can talk, but don't be like, "I know you," because that freaks me out.
That's so funny that you say that, because Jacob and I went to Theater Mia earlier today, and he said that he got recognized inside the store, and he was like, it's so annoying just like being walked up to, and then like people just saying like, "Oh, you're the guy that works at blank and blank."
Yeah, it's weird. It's really weird because it's like, one, I don't always remember you. Two, it's just like, I don't know. I know that I have a very distinct look, I guess. Like,
Yeah,
I
would never say that to somebody.
Yeah,
Right.
because I'm just like, I don't know. Maybe I sound like a bitch, but it's a weird experience to like have people be like, "I know you."
I think I would automatically take it as somebody was hitting on me if they were like, "Oh, I've seen you at your workplace."
Yeah.
I'd be like, "Why do you remember me?"
I just feel like, I feel like there's better things that you could say. You could say like, "Oh, I really like your style." You could say, I don't know,
anything.
like anything besides like, "I know where you work."
Yeah, because it's
Right.
creepy.
Which is also why I don't really want to work at the location close to us, because I recognize some of the people there when I go to some of the local bars, and I'm just like, "Oh, cool." But they're more like distinct looking people, like the alternative people at that store I remember, because I'm like, there's a bitch with a mullet and, you know, dyed hair that I see.
Yeah.
But yeah, also my peak was that I saw Hereditary in theaters at the Frida Cinema, and I wanted to mention them because I think that they are so cool, and it's the only nonprofit art house theater in Orange County, and one of the only ones in the US in general. They're not like, they're very few and far between. But like the love that they have for film is so cool. They have so many like showings of different kinds of movies. So you don't have to be like a film bro to enjoy them. Like I'm going to a double feature of Scooby-Doo 1 and 2 with some friends there later this month. But they're doing this thing called A24 Fest. So they're showing, I think one or two, I think they have some double features. They're showing like one movie a week from the A24 horror like collection up until the end of May, because that's when they're doing Bring Her Back, which is the new A24 horror movie, which looks pretty fire. But yeah, they're super cool. They're like very involved with their local community, especially in terms of like artistry. I think they just finished taking like accepting art from this like David Lynch scene that they're making. They call him like the unofficial patron saint of the Frida cinema, and it was like titled after Frida Kahlo. So it's just very cool theater. If you're in Orange County, go support it. If you're not already someone that goes there, they have a very like loyal cult following, which is really cool too.
And you said there's like a matcha boba place inside?
Next, there's a market. It's like a cafeteria kind of style. So it looks like a
Grand Central Market.
Yeah, it's like a food court, and they have like a matcha place, but it's literally across the street. Like
that's sick.
One block over. It's super cool. We should go to.
I was gonna say we should go.
Movies.
Yeah, I would like to go.
If you guys want to go see Scooby-Doo 1 and 2.
I could be down.
I'm down.
You know who else would be down? Cassie.
I was gonna say Cassie.
That'd be so fun.
Yeah.
Scooby-Doo screams Cassie.
Yeah.
She's so like Daphne.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Yeah.
Which I love. But the only thing is that they don't have like you have to actually be there early to like get a seat, but like half an hour or something. Like you don't have to be there crazy early. They also are the one that does the viewing of Stop Making Sense once a month, which is the Talking Heads concert movie.
Cool.
And it's so much fun. We have to go sometime.
That would be fun.
After watching that, I realized how hot David Byrne is.
I couldn't tell you what it looks like.
Look him up.
In pictures you won't really get it, but when you watch the movie it's like, whoa.
That's how I feel. I'm really obsessed with Walton Goggins right now, and
you keep sending us TikToks about him being like he's so hot.
Like I can't explain it. The one thing that does bother me is his like obvious veneers. His teeth are too perfect.
Yeah.
But he's just so like, I think it's just his energy.
While we're on the topic of him, I don't think I liked the last episode of White Lotus. I think it was unsatisfying.
Okay. What why?
Number one, if I wasn't gonna see him take out his whole family, I wanted to see the Ratcliffes or whatever. I wanted to see what happened when they got home. Or at least I wanted to see a reaction of them finding out that they were all like fucking broken, getting investigated.
Yeah.
So that was unsatisfying to me. I don't like that like we really glazed over the shooting at the end. Like I feel like the first episode made it seem like we were going to see a lot more like that girl's son like discovered a body in the water. Like was that a bodyguard? Like what did he see? I don't know. I expected more.
Yeah, I really liked the finale. It did leave a lot of questions that were unanswered for me. Like, I don't understand why Lachlan never questioned his dad as to like how did he not put two and two together that his dad tried to poison them? And maybe he did, but like why was there was no confrontation or like questioning of that?
Nobody noticed like how long it took for them to get to the breakfast table?
Yeah.
And you're telling me he wasn't like fucking like drooling out of his mouth sick?
Yeah. Another thing that bothered me was that I think her name is Belinda.
Yes, Belinda.
She just like completely cut off Porn Chai.
Yeah.
Which made me really sad because he loved her. And that dynamic was really cute. And I hope it's not the end of Porn Chai because I do think that Belinda and her son Zion will be in the next season.
She's been the only consistent character, so I would say so.
Yeah, I think it was you that theorized that she might be like the next Tanya.
Yeah.
Which could be really fun.
Maybe that they're incorporating the Ratcliffes into the next series.
That's what I'm hoping.
Or season, like how they kind of still incorporated Tanya into this season.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe they like reference them in the news or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really wanted to see the dad kill himself because I didn't like the dad.
Oh, that was the other thing is I am annoyed that Lachlan came back to life in the first place because I think that the dad deserved to lose at least one of his family members because he tried to kill all of them except for Lachlan, and like that should have been his karma.
I agree.
I don't know, kind of pissed me off, but I trust Mike White's vision and his writing, his ideas.
I think I just wanted more. I think I wanted more episodes. I wanted more drama. I wanted more of this cast.
I will say that, like, I think consuming the TikTok theories for the final episode kind of ruined the final episode for me because people had like really, really like elaborate, like really smart like ideas of like how it was gonna be written, and obviously it didn't turn out the way that a lot of them did. A lot of them didn't have the best theories either.
Yeah.
They kind of just were like, oh yeah, I think the cops are gonna come and shoot everybody. Like, stupid.
It's not the US.
So boring.
I thought it was gonna be something to do with Valentine and his friends because like we had such a heavy focus on them.
Yeah. The way that the girls' friendship, like the women's friendship, was wrapped up in a pretty bow was like,
that was weird.
It was like kind of weird to me. It felt incomplete.
And everyone seems so normal on the boat ride home. Like they didn't just like hear like 11 gunshots.
Yeah. Very confusing. So,
and I'm sad that they killed Amy Lou Wood's character.
But I'm glad that her and what's his name?
Walton?
Yeah, but his character.
Rick.
I'm glad that they died together.
Me too. Have you guys seen the drama about Walton Goggins running his own social media and unfollowing Amy Lou Wood, but then posting like all these pictures with Amy Lou Wood?
Yeah, well, he's married. And maybe his wife is threatened and doesn't want him following her. That's just my theory.
Maybe he shouldn't be married anymore.
I mean, they do have like crazy chemistry.
Just saying.
I did hear about that, which is funny because I'm not involved in this at all.
Yeah.
I have no interest in Walton Goggins outside of White Lotus, so I found it hilarious that I ended up on his like PR side of TikTok.
Something about that man. I don't know.
I also, as someone who has only seen the last episode, because I was present when we were watching it all together because I was eating ice cream, I do think that that guy coming back to life was kind of stupid. Like, it was just like very unnecessary. And I mean, it would have been sad, but it would have been better for the story, I guess. And I don't like when, since that's the end of that season, that means we won't see those characters anymore, right?
Essentially.
So I don't like that, like, cliffhanger endings of things. Like, it's not, like, it can be nice for some things, but when it's literally everything, it's just not very satisfying.
Yeah, it just feels like it could have been written more thought out. And a little rushed, which is funny because the last episode felt like a huge slow burn. Like everything that happened that was important happened in the last like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
For like a 2-hour long episode.
Yeah. Well, the first 2 episodes of the season were boring.
I disagree. But
I personally was bored.
I respect it.
Not that I was bored. I just kind of felt like nothing was grabbing me, I guess, besides that one opening scene where you obviously find out that people are getting shot.
Yeah. I hope that the next season is at it's based at the Four Seasons in Madagascar.
Ooh.
That would be really cool.
That's an interesting thing to throw out.
But then he also said, Mike White also said that he doesn't want to be in like a beachy area for the next season.
It's been 3 beaches in a row.
Yeah.
So, as someone who hasn't seen it, is the White Lotus like a chain and they show different locations? I see. I'd always figured it was just in Thailand. I haven't seen any of them.
Yeah, last season was Italy, and then the season before was
Hawaii, right?
Hawaii.
Yeah. I think it's really good. I think you would enjoy it.
I think so too. We're just in like a golden age for TV and film right now, to where I just genuinely don't know where to start. Like, there's so much going on.
Recession indicator.
Honestly, yeah. People aren't going anywhere.
District 1 is feeding us.
They better for the price of all of the goddamn fucking subscriptions we have.
Dude, I can't. You guys had niche news?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have my phone.
Do you know
what was your niche news?
I don't remember what it was called.
It's okay. If it comes back to you, we can circle back.
I had a screenshot of it on my phone.
Okay. Well, on my TikTok, which is very niche, I guess, I have been seeing a lot of Chinese manufacturers posting their warehouses where they make designer and luxury goods for brands like Hermes and Louis Vuitton and Birkenstock. And they're selling directly to Americans, like individuals, instead of like the third party, like middlemen, who are, usually like the retailers in America that have to pay the tariffs on Chinese goods. But if you're buying directly from the manufacturer as an individual, you wouldn't have to pay the tariffs. So this is kind of like China's way to fight back, which is really smart and funny. And all the comments are like very supportive and I love to see it. Because as of right now, today is April 13th, Trump's tariffs on China are 145%.
That's just crazy.
Which is insane. But yeah, it's been really fun, like seeing like the factories where they're making like the designer handbags. Like I saw this one guy and he was like showing like every part of the process. He even showed like the skinned crocodile that was like, or not the crocodile itself, but like the skin from the skinned crocodile.
Yeah.
That was like tanned, I guess. Like it was like purple for like a Birkin bag.
God.
It was like crazy to see. And then he was like showing us the hardware that they use. And he was explaining that like most designer handbags, even though the designers claim that their bags are made in Italy or made in France or wherever, they're actually mostly assembled in China. Like all the materials are put together in China, and then they send them to the like quote unquote fancy European countries where they'll just add in their like logos and their like designer like lining on the bags.
So fucked up.
And so that way they can claim that they're made in those countries so that they feel more luxurious to American and like Western consumers so that they can mark up their price. And yeah, but really like China is definitely capable of creating like luxurious goods. I think that there is a huge stigma against Chinese manufactured goods for being cheap or like slave labor. I don't know if slave labor is like necessarily how people view Chinese labor, but like cheap labor.
Yeah.
It's not always true. I think that we need to start deconstructing our propagandized minds like against Chinese people and culture. So yeah, anyways,
that really makes me think that I now think that like all of the knockoffs or whatever you want to call them on DHgate are real and they're just not finished essentially.
I had the same thought. But yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised. I do think the US, like most US people are pretty xenophobic. Like most people have some sort of internalized distaste for like China and their goods. But also there's so many like good, there's not just sweatshops in China. Just like not every single workplace in the US is safe. There's so many sweatshops in Los Angeles just alone where it's
So
just
true.
like a lot of immigrants or people that are being trafficked, like their visas and their passports are withheld for them to be working for fucking like Forever 21 or something like that.
yeah.
So it's really unfortunate the way that people look at China just in general. I think most Americans just think that they are better than any country ever.
Yeah, or like other Western countries like Italy and
yeah, we're very
France.
Western focused, and it definitely is like it's racist.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm really interested in seeing like where that goes, because I think that if people get on board with like ordering directly from the manufacturers from China, like it would be really interesting to see like what happens to retailers here.
Yeah, you're cutting the middleman out, and you're paying less essentially, both for tariffs and just the cost itself because of how much it's marked up.
1,000%.
Also on Birkin, is it true that they once had an elephant skin bag?
I don't know. That
I'm
sounds
not
like
up
the
on Birkin
thickest
like
leather
that.
ever.
I wish I had my phone.
Yeah, I
to
feel
fact
like
check this, but I've seen. I thought I saw a picture of. I don't know if it was a Birkin bag, but one like major retailer made like a purse out of elephant skin, and there was a lot of controversy about it because it's really fucked up, and a lot of like you shouldn't big game hunt elephants for their ivory or for their hide or whatever.
I can already hear the vegans in our comments being like, well, all leather is unethical. It's all fucked up. Which, yeah, I agree. I think that, I mean, I'm not vegan, but
I don't know if I 100% agree. I feel like if the leather is sourced from, if the cow is going to be killed for food anyway, then I feel like it's better than wasting the cow.
Ostrich leather, there's crocodile leather, like,
which I don't agree with. I also feel like crocodile leather and snakeskin leather are ugly, in my opinion.
I unfortunately think crocodile leather is cute.
I do too. I like
think
snake
it's
and
hideous.
crocodile. I don't really like ostrich leather.
No, also that makes me sad, the ostriches, which is maybe like stupid to think that if I eat meat, and I recognize that, but it just, I don't know, feels so far removed.
And there was a line of Birkin bags that were elephant leather, but also elephant leather seems to be a very popular purse thing for like non-US companies.
That's crazy. I did not know that.
A lot of companies came up with elephant leather purses. So.
I think that sucks if
they're endangered, I think.
Well, that's where I was going, is like I think that elephants are endangered. I know that there are different like species of elephants. But if they are not breeding elephants for like the cause of, or what am I trying to say? If they're not breeding elephants to use their skin as leather for handbags, and then they're just like continuing to get more and more endangered, like that really sucks.
Yeah.
But if they are breeding elephants specifically for the reason to like make handbags out of them, could that be keeping them from going?
That's a great question.
Endangered?
I don't think so. If they're being made to kill them, no?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I had the same thought about honey, like honeybees, because like a lot of vegans are like,
honeybees will go extinct if we don't keep farming them for honey.
That's kind of what I thought. Like, I know that some of them die in the process of collecting the honey, but like
they die in
we're
nature.
breeding them.
Yeah, they die in the nature collection too.
Yeah, that's also a natural part of like, they just work. Like that's their.
This is the big vegan debate.
Yeah, honey, whether it's vegan or not.
Which maybe that's a me thing actually. I was going to say, I just don't really think that. I don't think being vegan is necessary. I think vegetarian makes more sense. But like, if you don't like buy into animal byproducts, like they're going to stop making them, and they're going to stop like essentially caring about keeping these animals alive.
Yeah. As a former vegan who still sees a lot of the value in their arguments, like I see both sides.
Yeah. This is coming from a girl who does not drink cow's milk, by the way. Like ever.
Yeah. I can validate all of, well, maybe not all, most of the vegans' arguments. But
yeah. I don't dislike veganism as a concept. I think it's pretty cool, but I think it can come from a poor place, especially if it's like a white vegan, because it can often be very dismissive to like cultural experience, especially regarding like indigenous people.
Yeah, That's fair.
But, you know, nuance.
Nuance. The world could use more of that.
Yeah.
But that was my niche news. Was the TikTok Chinese manufacturers exposing.
I fuck with it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I hope that more things get exposed in just in every industry in general. I think it would be really cool for the general public to know more about how stuff is made, where it's coming from, the human cost, like how it affects other people. I think we're just we as in like Americans or the West are very like Eurocentric. We don't really think about anything and where it comes from and how it's made.
No, we don't care.
Yeah.
As long as it sounds luxurious and it's convenient for us to buy.
Yeah, the tariffs have been like actually stressing me out because a lot of people don't really understand that the US cannot make every single thing and that a lot of parts of one thing are made around the world.
Yeah, we can't make most things.
Yeah, you can't make a phone in the US.
China's actually literally withholding certain rare minerals that are required for certain automotive and technology products that nobody else can get.
Good for them.
Yeah,
So
happy for them.
I don't know what the little orange man is thinking, but his logic is flawed.
He doesn't really have much up there. It's mostly just like raw chicken cutlets and some like bleach, I'm sure.
Mhm.
Honestly, I think that's like giving him a little too much credit. I don't think there's anything but like bleach and rocks up there.
I was thinking like a marble.
Maybe just one bouncing around in the bleach.
Yeah, and his supporters also.
Marbles for brains.
Marbles for brains, worms for brains.
Smooth brain.
Mm-hmm.
Smooth brain behavior.
I've been thinking a lot about in terms, like speaking also on politics, just the SAVE Act in general and what that's going to look like in the future if it does pass through the Senate.
Yeah, it's really scary.
Yeah.
Because it seems like the chances of it passing through the Senate are actually pretty possible.
Yeah. Which you are unfamiliar with the SAVE Act. That's the one that was proposed to, like, not exactly, but it basically is just voter suppression. You would have to show multiple documents for voting, especially if your last name is different from your birth name, which affects a lot of people, including married women if they change their
How would
maiden
this
names.
affect mail ballots? Because I was thinking about how I've never had to do anything besides mail in my ballot. I'm just one of those people. I don't vote on the ballot day. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, I never do either. I either will drop it off in person the day of, or I'll mail it in early.
Yeah, but I've always dropped it off at like just like a box, so I've never had to like show an ID. I just do my little signature.
Well,
So how would this?
in order to
affect
be
that?
registered to vote, you have to have citizenship, I'm sure.
I think so. Right?
Which,
Yes.
like, even if like, say you were an undocumented immigrant and you somehow got a mail-in ballot, which you probably wouldn't get, they wouldn't mail it to you if you weren't registered to vote. But if you got your hands on someone's mail-in ballot and you used it to try to vote, it would be invalid anyways because, like, you're not eligible. But the whole reason for the SAVE Act is to prevent undocumented people from being able to vote, but they already can't vote.
Yeah.
So it's actually just affecting citizens who are eligible to vote. Like, now it makes them not eligible to vote unless they show multiple forms of identification, which, yes, even if you... Yeah, I don't know how this is going to affect mail-in voting, but like I'm imagining like at the voting polls on election day, they're going to go a lot slower. It's going to be like the DMV because you have to have like fucking multiple. I don't even have to show my ID when I vote, when I drop off my.
No, and you can
I
drop
know.
off somebody else's. As of right now, like you can put your name on and be like a valid drop-off person.
That's crazy.
So is this only applying then to registering to vote that you need these multiple forms if you don't need your ID to actually go in person to vote? This is why I wish
well,
I had
I
my phone
think
on me.
that's. I think you do have to have your ID, and if you have a different last name from your birth certificate,
But how would they know?
I don't know. I feel like we should have looked this up before we talked about it.
Do you know what I'm saying? Okay, so like
I said it's not too late. Someone could do it right now.
Well, like, what do I type in?
Just like SAVE Act, it'll give you more information.
because hypothetically, all your ID has to match is what your ballot says. So just register to vote under that name. Like, I don't understand how they're going to enforce this plan they have without changing the entire way the voting system works. And I don't think they could do that. I don't think they're smart enough.
Oh yeah, it's to prove citizenship before registering to vote.
So does this affect people who are already...
Acceptable documents will include a birth certificate, U.S. passport, naturalization paperwork, and certain versions of the Real ID that indicate citizenship.
Does the SAVE Act affect people who are already registered? I wish it would just give me a yes or no.
I don't understand why you can't just bring your marriage certificate. Maybe you can.
Okay, but am I crazy? I don't remember what I did to register to vote. I'm pretty sure I did it online with my social security number. Which, when you change your last name, when you get married, your social security card is the first thing you change.
Right.
So, and then you would change your license. So then your voter registration should match your license regardless because it's tied to your social security card.
But immigrants, when they go through naturalization or when they get their citizenship, they get a social security card. So I don't know if this is to prevent those people from being able to vote or what.
I'm not surprised. They're also trying to deport people during their interview process for applying for citizenship, which is incredibly fucked up because a lot of Trump supporters say that they want people to do things the right way. But then if you are doing things the right way, you could get deported and detained by ICE and then deported.
Okay. This is what website am I on? Hang on. PBS.org says the SAVE Act would require all applicants using the federal voter registration form to provide documentary proof of citizenship in person at their local election office when they register to vote. Among the acceptable documents are a U.S. valid passport and a government-issued photo ID card presented alongside a certified birth certificate. So that's to register to vote. So it is... See, because people have been saying this is going to affect married women. This doesn't sound like it's affecting married women. It sounds like it's only affecting people who become citizens and then need to register to vote.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody in the administration knows what the act is actually about either. I think everyone thinks something different, and they're all just hoping that they get what they want.
Hold on, can I finish reading this? Oh, so you can bring your marriage certificate, but it's just an extra burden, which I don't know, just be prepared, I guess. I mean, it's annoying and it is voter suppression, but it's...
Do I have to re-register then when I change my name? I don't know. This one I don't understand. I've tried looking this up so many times because I keep seeing conflicting TikTok videos about it.
Yeah, I also feel like that's the point, is they try to make so many executive orders you can't really fully immerse yourself into one. There's so many things that you have to learn about constantly.
Well, I was reading earlier when I was trying to figure this out is that someone who works, I think it was a law professor, was basically saying that a lot of voter, whatever these are, bills, this is a bill, a lot of voter bills and stuff in this realm essentially don't actually get the details hammered out until they're voted in, which I think is really fucking stupid.
Yeah, we should have all of our shit together before we agree to pass it.
But I do think there is a certain level of fear mongering happening with what people are saying, because I don't think anybody actually knows what's going on.
I agree.
Yeah. Which is valid because I'm fearful.
I am fearful, and I want to change my last name. I'm going to do it because I told Elena yesterday, I'm like, you know what? If this is all going to go down, I'd rather Ethan own me so that I knew I was safe.
Yeah.
which works for you.
Which is like, that's my opinion on this, but it did make me go like, oh fuck, like should I not change my name? And that's why I've been trying to figure it out, and I still don't have an answer, so I'm just gonna do it. And
yeah,
hopefully that stops me from being one of the people who gets like fucking assaulted.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, my knee-jerk reaction to what I first heard about the Save Act was like, oh no, like I was really excited to take Jacob's last name when we get married one day because I think it's really cool. But then I was like, well, I could just change. I could just keep my last name. It's fine. I like it.
Yeah. Also, like, you can just change it online.
Yeah.
You know, like if that's how you want people to know you, just change it online. You don't have to change anything else.
Pretty much already did that.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
It's a great example of it.
Okay, I had one thing that I wanted to bring up. I don't know how well versed I will be about it because I literally just scrambled to do some research before we recorded and I was a little overstimulated.
What was happening?
Yeah. I just wanted to talk a little bit about Kilmar Garcia. He's a 29-year-old man and father of 3 who entered the U.S. with a work permit since 2019. Or he came to the U.S. in 2011 because he was escaping El Salvador from gang violence. But he has had a work permit since 2019, and he was abducted by ICE and placed in an El Salvador prison last month. The prison is called CCOT or SECOT. It's an acronym, but I'm not even going to try to like butcher this. It's in Spanish. And I don't want to embarrass myself with a bad accent. The U.S. State Department claims that he is alive, but his wife hasn't heard from him since he has been deported. Officials say that they can't be, or that he can't be brought back yet. But there is a judge from Maryland that is like demanding his return because he was deported illegally and without a legal basis. He was falsely told that his immigration status had changed when he got arrested. I'm trying to remember. I didn't write down what he was arrested for.
I think it was
It was a traffic violation, I think.
Oh, I thought this was the guy who was doing like a pro-Palestine protest or something.
No, not that guy.
That was one of the Columbia students.
Yeah. Yes, he was accused of being associated with gang violence, but he has no criminal record besides a traffic violation. But yeah, there are a lot of people theorizing that he is no longer with us because that prison that he was sent to doesn't have the greatest track record for ever letting people out. I was trying to do some research about the prison, but there is not a lot of information about it from what I could see. There's information about his story and like that prison, but I pretty much told you guys everything. Like the capacity for that prison is 40,000 max.
God.
And I think allegedly right now there are 80,000 people there, or there have been 80,000 people sent there. People theorize that it's an extermination camp.
I was going to say, this is literally World War II Germany concentration camp vibe.
And without trying to sound like an alarmist, it was brought to my attention via TikTok, but then I went and looked for myself. If you go on like Google Images or Google Earth, and you type in CCOT camp in El Salvador, there is a portion of the encampment that is open air, and it is very blurry, but the imagination could say that it looks like there is a pile of dead bodies and a big pool of blood.
God.
And I saw it on TikTok and I was like, no fucking way. And then I went and looked for myself, and what I saw horrified me. And I've been sick to my stomach ever since I saw.
That's awful.
It's very scary. And that is where Garcia is placed right now. And I hope that he is alive, and I hope that he gets back home. But I can only pray that he is okay. But regardless, I don't think anything that happens to any of those people is good, because they're already overcrowded.
Yeah.
In those tiny little cells. Yeah, it's very scary. It's also like a maximum security prison for terrorists. And he's not a terrorist. He was here legally. There's no reason why he should have been sent there. Obviously, all of his constitutional rights have been ripped away for like not being in the United States anymore. So very scary, very sad. I hope for his return. His wife and his kids are in my thoughts.
Yeah, I don't think it's alarmist to say that we're not sure if he's with us anymore. You know, we're obviously hoping that that's not the case, but the U.S. military, and I'm assuming that's military run, right? That specific.
Yeah, there. All I know is that there is a U.S. embassy in that area of El Salvador.
Yeah. And Nazi Germany actually learned a lot of their practices from like the US and like Jim Crow era US, and how segregation worked, and how they like isolated people who like they learned from slavery, and how Black people were treated in America. So it's not surprising that Americans are doing that currently to brown people, people who are quote unquote like illegal aliens. But it is really sad. It's really unfortunate. And under the Trump administration, I believe ICE is allowed to like detain you based on suspicion, which basically means like you're brown, you look suspicious, and that wouldn't be illegal for them to do that. And also, ICE has only been an organization since 2001, so it's not something that we need. It's not something we ever needed. It was kind of made like I believe post 9/11, or it was at least like made to be what it was to this day after 9/11, mostly like to target brown people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, super scary, super sad. I'm terrified of what is going to happen in the next 4 years, obviously.
It's only been 4 months.
Yeah. And it just sucks that our government thinks that they can take people, whether they're legal Americans or not, and just throw them in another country, and so they don't have any rights. So they can do whatever they want to them without any repercussions.
Yeah, it's very scary. And also just like a lot of people think it's quote unquote, like as in Trump supporters, they think that it's okay because it's like those people are quote unquote taking their jobs, or like they're dangerous to society. But a lot of you are Christian, which doesn't make any sense because you're supposed to love your neighbor. And in the Bible, I believe Jesus says that those people were all immigrants once from Egypt. So they should treat immigrants with like love and respect, which they don't. So I think if you're a Christian and you're a Trump supporter, you are ignorant and you're a hypocrite.
1,000%
So
agree.
true. Yeah, very depressing, very scary for a lot of people. And yeah, if you are undocumented, we walk with you, you know.
Yeah. It also scares me because I fear for what they're going to come for next. If they're, you know, I think there was already a story about, like what you were talking about earlier, the pro-Palestine activist and student. What happened to him?
He basically got like abducted.
Yeah.
Same thing wouldn't tell his wife where he was. And then they stated that, I want to say, again, I'm not looking this up. I don't feel like it right now. I don't even know his name. I'm really sorry. I feel like you guys know what we're talking about. But said basically that something had happened because he was pro-Palestine. That's what I've seen and heard.
Yeah, Columbia is also allowed to revoke your degree, which shouldn't be allowed if you took out loans and paid your tuition. Also, Cal State Long Beach is doing something similar in the sense that if you are an international student and if you were at their pro-Palestine rally last year, you might not be able to return to the school, which you literally pay tuition there. You should be able to continue your education there.
There's a huge practice of universities taking away degrees from certain people. It's really fucked up.
It shouldn't be allowed. I don't understand how that's legal. I know that there's contracts and things that you have signed in the case, but people have paid so much time and money to be able to get a degree. You shouldn't be able to revoke it for any reason that you deem fit.
Yeah.
It's also so like arbitrary, especially because a lot of these schools get money from APAC or like organizations involved with Israel directly, like Boeing or some other like companies. So it's just so intertwined, I guess, everything, which is why they do it. But it's
which is so performative of Cal State Long Beach specifically, because they like fucking shove it in your face of how like pro LGBTQ plus they are, and that's their extent of like their political activism as a school.
Yeah, I wonder how that's going to change in the next few years under the new administration, like with the removal of DEI or like people wanting to remove DEI.
I don't think they'll get away with it in this city specifically.
I don't think so either. There's so many young people here. There's so many people of color here. There's so many queer people here. I would hope not, at the very least.
I do have something funny to say. On April 1st, April Fool's Day for the city of Long Beach, our mayor put out on like all social media basically that they were renaming the San Pedro Bay to the Gulf of Long Beach.
Robert Garcia. That's funny as fuck.
No, it's not him anymore.
Who is it?
It's somebody else.
No way.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I just saw it on my Instagram, like it just popped up today. That made me laugh so fucking hard. Because
that's really funny.
At least we live in a state that's trolling the president.
Yeah, that is really funny.
Okay. I do want to say his name.
Yeah.
Mahmoud Khalil.
Yes.
The Columbia student.
Is his name, what was the other guy's first name?
It's, hold on, I'm in my notes. Kilmar.
See, they sounded so similar in my head. Thought they were the same.
Completely different ethnicities.
It was just the K, to be honest.
Yes, he was arrested by ICE. And yes, they wanted to revoke his student visa. But he was actually already a permanent resident with a green card.
I was going to say he's married.
Yeah. But yeah, they tried to arrest him. They did arrest him for speaking out against Israel, standing up for Palestine.
Which is also fucked up to be arrested for that. One, that's against the First Amendment. Two, you, like a lot of your school, like your paperwork can be completely affected by if you've been arrested or not, or if you've been like charged with something.
Yeah. It's getting really scary how much we will be able to have our voices suppressed out of fear for being arrested, out of fear for being deported.
Yeah.
Out of fear for being killed. The world is getting very, very scary.
Yeah, it is really scary. My grandpa just got a ranch in Mexico, and we have family out there, obviously. But my dad keeps making jokes that are like, when I get deported, I'm gonna go here, and it's kind of funny, but also makes me really sad.
Yeah.
Hoping that everything will be okay.
Yeah.
Congrats to your grandpa.
Yeah, seriously.
I want to go visit.
That would be slay. I don't remember exactly where it is. My family is kind of all over Mexico because my dad came here with his parents, and then my mom was born here, but her parents are from different states in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Then you have like a lot of places to visit.
Yeah. Mobile.
Chai looks so cute right now.
I know. I kept looking at her throughout the episode. She's just, you can't see her in the video, but if you are watching on YouTube, she is like a foot away from where my hand is, curled up at the end of this beanbag. She's a precious little angel baby.
Good morning.
Baby. She's Mexican too. She's from Downey. Pretty bleak one, but the world has been pretty bleak lately. I've been like avoiding my phone, like Instagram and TikTok. I haven't really been on as much recently, just because it's so scary.
Yeah.
Also, like they're attacking libraries now. They want to stop public funding to libraries, which is just another like point of people getting education and learning.
One thing that has been a light in the world to me has been Love on the Spectrum. I know that a lot of people find it to be problematic, and I can see why for some reasons. But I will say that I am a big fan of the cast, and I love following their stories. Shout out to Comrade James. He's one of the bachelors, if we can call him that, on Love on the Spectrum. I don't know if he actually found a partner. I think he did. I think he found like a blonde baddie that appreciates like medieval things as much as James does.
Cute.
I think a lot of them have found like partners, which is great. I don't know if they've found them like through the show, but it's been very wholesome. It's been very happy for me to see. And then seeing them all like hang out as like a friend group is just like really, really sweet. I think that I have been so easy to cry at things that are wholesome to me lately, because there is just so much like evil in the world that like the smallest things just like make me tear up. Like the smallest like good things make me tear up. Like even watching Bernie Sanders' speech at Coachella, dude, like at the end of the day, he is a Democrat, and I don't really fuck with Democrats like that. He's a democratic socialist, whatever.
Yeah, he also has interesting views on Israel.
I thought he was he spoke up about Gaza.
He's not like Zionist, but when all of the October 7th stuff happened, his first response wasn't amazing in terms of it being centered on Hamas and not like what was happening to Palestinian people. But I think he's since moved a little bit more left in his takes.
Okay.
But they were very questionable like 2 years ago.
Okay. I recognize that.
Yeah, he has changed a lot though, I would say.
Yeah, I'll give credit where credit is due. If he has learned and grown, then good for him. But that was like the main message of his speech at Coachella, was to speak up for Palestine,
which is awesome,
which is really wonderful. And also, as he's been doing, just speaking out against the oncoming oligarchy, or the present oligarchy.
I've grown more of an appreciation for him this past year. Wasn't really rocking with him like 2 years ago, because he was getting a little bit too centrist, and I was like, okay, you're supposed to be like left-leaning Democrat more so, because people would call him like communist, because he said he was like a democratic socialist. But I think he's done a lot better in moving a little bit more left. He's still, Democrat, which we're more of a leftist like podcast, but yeah, that was so awesome, and using a platform that is really, really, really necessary at this moment in time. And there's so many people present at Coachella and who are just watching live. Shout out to Claro.
Yeah, shout out to Clara for having Bernie Sanders come and like take up some time on her stage time.
Yeah.
It made me like, I don't know, Bernie Sanders like has a special place in my heart, because he's really been speaking out for
decades,
forever. And
we could have had him.
It seems like the world has only really gotten worse since his activism, and he has not given up on us. So thank you, Bernie. Not that you're listening, but love you.
What do you mean he's our number one fan?
That's my grandpa.
I wonder how different the world would have been if he won in 2016.
I think we'd be rich right now in life.
Yeah, I was gonna be like, I don't know if I'd go that far.
Enriched.
Everyone would be rich. That's the point.
Does anyone else have niche news?
No.
Okay. Does anyone else have anything wholesome to share?
No.
Okay. Cool. Well,
I do want to. We will see you guys in like a few weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a wedding to happen.
You're getting married.
Y'all will be there.
We're in it.
Yeah, that's true. But it's just funny.
Yeah.
And I really can't do the math right now in my head on when we'll be back, but we'll be back.
Yeah.
This episode is a little depressing, but we'll have great news when we come back.
A great recap is in your future.
Yeah. So stay tuned for that. Thank you for listening.
I would also like to say before we leave, we've gotten much more followers. We've gotten 400 more followers since maybe more by the time this is posted. in the past week or so. So I'd like to thank everyone who's been tuning in. More specifically, the alt baddies have been tapped in because we made that episode about or not, the whole episode wasn't even about that. It was just one clip that we got from that episode. But we're talking about hardcore, and yeah, a lot of alternative cool people have followed us. So yeah, this is what we're about. We talk about politics too. Also, we're bimbos, but we are empathetic. And
so true.
Yeah, we love gay people, brown people, DEI, trans people. If you're tuned in, we love you. You're awesome. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, I forgot to talk about that, but thank you guys for following and listening.
Yeah, we appreciate it so much. We've been doing this for a year, and we have listens. We have monthly listeners, but it's really been very up and down, per episode, how much people tune in. So this past one, people have actually been paying attention, which is really, really, really cool and a little bit scary.
It is very scary. I'm scared.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting 20,000 people to hear me speak. And I have one video on my TikTok that's almost at 1 million views, but it's me and my Blythe. So I'm not saying anything. So it's not that scary. But the thought of 20,000 people hearing me speak is really, really, really scary.
Yeah.
But thank you for tuning in, and we love you. And I see all of you that are following, and a lot of you are baddies. So thank you. This podcast is for you.
Thanks, hotties.
Okay, bye.
Okay,
bye.
Later, haters.